Hello and welcome into the Anthony Griggs Coaches Show. I'm your host, Bruno Reagan. I'm the head of the audiovisual production department here at Springfield High School, and I'm joined by none other than head coach of the Springfield High boys basketball program, Anthony Griggs. Coach Griggs, thank you for joining us. Just real quick, an overview. First week of the season done. We had our first show last week. Between then and now, we had our Jamboree over at White House Heritage, and then we had our first game of the season, which came away with a Springfield win, 1-0 to start the season against Sycamore. Coach, thanks for joining us. Just talk to me about that 1-0 feeling coming into the season, what you saw from those first few games now that the season has sort of came fast.
The first game went well. We had a bunch of things we definitely can improve on. Just to go back about the Jamboree, Coach Miller over there at White House Heritage, he puts on a good event for the community, for the county. Gave us an opportunity that, of course, we're going to play White House Heritage in January, so it kind of gave us some good bump going forward, letting them know, hey, we're both here. So we got that experience. And then going into yesterday, that was Sycamore's second games in our first game of the season, so they came out a little bit more fresh than we did. We came out a little rusty to start the game, but once we got into the flow of the game and got everything going and started making changes, some of the improvements we made as a team was we didn't have that many turnovers. That's been our Achilles heel, is turnovers. So for us to have 10 or less yesterday and being able to take care of the ball against those guys, it definitely helped.
No, good. And Coach, I think it works to the advantage of the audience too, because I'm someone who's pretty new to basketball, and I was surprised with how quick the schedule comes about. Right, you hit the Jamboree, then you hit the ground running. You're all of a sudden at games, tournaments, invitationals, all that. I just want to kind of go back to that Jamboree. How do each sport does it a little different? Football, sometimes you use it to play younger guys, or maybe install a little bit more. How do you go about using the Jamboree to your advantage, and then using that to lead into the season?
A little bit of both. It gives us an opportunity. We use that Jamboree as an extra scrimmage, as you will, for us. It gives us a chance to clean some things up. It gives me a chance to put some guys out there and get them a little bit more experience, especially with our football players still in playoffs right now. So it gives me a chance to kind of play with the lineups a little bit, see who I can put where, who can give us a couple extra minutes here and there, and it gives the guys a chance. Hey, Coach Miller does have referees there, so we do get to get that live game action, so we can kind of know what we're to expect that following Tuesday night.
Now, Coach, it's actually something I wanted to ask you about, is that the football team here has obviously wildly successful, and it can be a few weeks. The season started, and there could still be a potential of maybe 2 to 3 weeks before you get these football guys and get them in and acclimated. I just want to ask you kind of, how does that go within the planning of a season, maybe the schedule? Do you cater to sort of maybe district matchups more and schedule them later into the season when you get those football guys? I wonder how that, that dynamic works, having to wait for, because it's going to be, Springfield football is going to be good every single year. So you're expecting, I believe, 7 to come back from the football team once they finish up their playoff run in 4A football. So just talk a little bit about that process and how that kind of bleeds into things like scheduling and such.
We cater to more of those district matchups. The way I set the schedule up is to prepare us for that district schedule, try to make that good postseason run. One thing since I've been here, our football team has always been successful. So I go into it expecting not to have them until mid-December. And, of course, they need a break, give them a week or two off. And it gives guys an opportunity, the ones that's been with us the whole time, just basketball guys, hey, this is your time to step up and take care of the team and hold things together until we do get those football guys back, which we have a couple of major pieces on that football team that's going to help us out. And we expect them to make those long postseason runs in football. And I know this year it's looking like they have a really, really great chance of getting to that state championship and winning the whole thing, which we would love to see that happen. So for us, this actually does us a favor in a way, because once we get to the postseason, that roster gets kind of shortened down, playing time kind of get cut to certain guys. So that gives us those fresh bodies once they do get a little rest and come back. So it helps us out. It kind of works out and balances itself out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Coach. And, just real quick while I have you before we go to our player interview, I'm looking at the schedule right here. I take a look at Sycamore and I take a look at Gallatin, and in parentheses are HOF. So I assume that stands for Hall of Fame. Can you explain to the audience what those Hall of Fame games are?
Hall of Fame games, which are essentially the Hall of Champion games, those are the two games that we play that the benefits go to TSSAA. So the money that we make, we share with TSSAA so they can benefit off of it and continue to grow the game, help with referees and things that they need. So those are two games that we play. Sycamore this year. Of course, we were able to come away with the win. Coach Luna over there at Gallatin is always going to have his team ready and disciplined. He, like I said, I joke with him all the time. He's the only living coach that I know in high school that has his name on the court. So, which is fantastic and proves how great of a job he does year in and year out over there.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Coach, real quick before we get to our player interview, I just wanted you to take a look at that, the Jamboree and that specifically that week or that game one win, against Sycamore, and just highlight maybe some specific performances that stood out to you from individuals on the Springfield High School basketball team that you'd like to give a shout out to.
Jaden Dunn, he did what we needed him to do, like we talked about in episode 1. He controlled the offensive glass yesterday really, really well. Elijah Barbie had a great game. He was close. I believe he should have been close to that double-double as well if he didn't get it. I know he had 14 points yesterday. But Jaden Dunn did well. Keegan had a slow start for us, but then he came alive that fourth quarter, which we really needed. He gave us that boost, and he got that exciting exclamation dunk yesterday. Stevie Ross, he played some good minutes for us. Come down and hit a couple shots for us that we needed.
Awesome. Well, it seems like you guys have had a great start to the season. Obviously, it's great to start 1-0, highlighting performances from Jalen Chapman, Elijah Barbie, who we had on the show last week. I think that's a good thing to get the players involved. And speaking about getting the players involved, stay tuned. We're going to have Jalen Chapman, who had 21 points, 9 rebounds, right there on that double-double range, leading Springfield in the statistics in their first win of the season. We have him coming up on the show, so stay tuned here on the Anthony Griggs Coaches Show. Welcome back to the Anthony Griggs Coaches Show. I'm your host, Bruno Reagan. I'm here every week with head coach Anthony Griggs of Springfield High School boys basketball, and we are starting our second week with our second player interview. This one will go to Jalen Chapman, who is the junior starting his upperclassman years here at Springfield High School. He's coming off an impressive performance, 21 points, 9 rebounds. What a way to start the season. And Jalen, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And Jalen, is this the first interview you ever done?
Yes.
Well, let's get right to it, Jalen. So you had 21 points, 9 rebounds. I just want to break the ice a little bit with you and just ask, when you're out there and you kind of you're playing, you feel the vibe, and do you notice that stat line, or is that just something that's a product of the process of a game and a flow? And do you notice that and chase it, or is that just something that ends up happening and you let the cards fall where they fall? Because you were right there on that double-double.
Nah, I didn't even know until Coach told me after the game.
Well, Jalen, how did you feel you guys did as a team and as an individual in this week 1 matchup? Obviously, you led, but I just want to know your thoughts, how you think that you and the team did.
Yeah, I feel like we done what was expected of us. We played a good game. There's still some stuff we can work on, but pretty much overall it was a good game.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jalen. I wanted to also ask you, what is different as a player that you've seen from this team? Obviously, you're going into your upperclassmen years. You get to kind of put your stamp, your personality, you and your fellow teammates into this team. What's different about this year's squad than the previous years?
Because we have more just upperclassmen, more leadership than last year's. That's about all, really.
Do you feel that maturity shows up in practice or maybe more off the court? Like, where do you feel that leadership shows? Like, where does it glow out the most?
I feel like we're all like closely bonded together. We all move as one unit and just play together.
Now, Jalen, obviously an impressive performance week 1 against Sycamore. You guys came away with the win. You had an impressive individual performance. Once again, 21 points, 9 rebounds. What did you feel you did? Maybe if you want, you can, talk about what you and the team have a chance to prove on. I just want to know how you think you guys played.
I feel like I did good getting downhill, getting to the basket. Some goals I need to work on, free throws, just finishing through contact and all that.
Do you have any specific goals, whether it be team or individual, or are you just more of a trust the process, trust our process kind of guy?
I just trust my word, trust my process. Whatever happens, happens. Nothing I can do about it, whatever happens.
Yeah, awesome. Jalen, I appreciate you coming on the show. Congrats on your early season success, and maybe we'll have you on the show later this season after some more impressive performances. So thank you for coming on. That was Jalen Chapman, junior, 21 points, 9 rebounds against Sycamore to lead Springfield. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll have Coach Griggs talking about the rest of the week outlook here on the Anthony Griggs Head Coaches Show. And welcome back to the Anthony Griggs Coaches Show. I'm your host, Bruno Reagan, joined by none other than Anthony Griggs, head coach of Springfield High School boys basketball. Now, Coach Griggs, you have two matchups specifically and I don't want you to look too far ahead on the second one, but we have two matchups specifically before we come back and do our next show. This episode will be aired on the 19th, and that means tomorrow, on November 20th, you will be playing away at Gallatin. Girls will play at 6, boys will tee off right after that, probably 7:30. And I just wanted you to talk about maybe some specific improvements or goals you have going into that game.
Yeah, our goal is to come out and play our brand of basketball that we did in game one. Make sure we come out and we're competing, we're playing hard. One thing that I've been saying recently is compete, communicate, and play at a championship level, and it all starts from day one. Coach Luna over there at Gallatin, he's going to have his guys disciplined. He's going to have them ready to play. He had a lot of those kids that he has over there. He's coached their either dads or been around their granddads. He just has that long-standing tradition, and those kids already know what to expect and how to play for him. And he's had my number the past 2 years, so we're looking forward to getting that first win against them tomorrow.
No, absolutely, Coach. I just wanted to ask you real quick, too. Is there anything that you're going to be able to pull from your game one obviously started 1-0, got the win against Sycamore. Is there any specific improvements that you want to see going into this Gallatin game, going away on the road, also that you can pull from maybe the film from that Sycamore game?
Yeah, we definitely need to get better. Just watching film this morning, looking at the way our defensive assignments. We blew a lot of easy defensive assignments yesterday, and a lot of it was probably out of excitement, being able to get back into the groove of things. But we have to be able to stay humble and stay locked into what we're doing, because when we make mistakes, we give up easy buckets. So that's one of our main focuses today that we're going to go over, is making sure we're in the right gaps, we're playing hard defensively, and we're running the floor. We did something called Hell Week this past September, October, and being able to get out and run. That's one of our focus points, get out and run. Yesterday, I can kind of tell we were kind of jogging a little bit. Looks like maybe it was a little nerves, but those keying in on those main two things is getting out and running and making sure we're being defensively sound.
Yeah, Coach. I mean, you kind of hit the ground running this season. You get that jamboree, and then you go immediately into your first game on the 18th. You get one practice on the 19th, and then the 20th, you're going away to Gallatin, trying to get that first one in your career over there. So I just want to ask real quick, is there kind of like, you look at the schedule and you plan out how these practices are going to be? Basketball season is such a dynamic thing with the scheduling, or is it something that you kind of play by ear as you go week by week, how you're going to prepare the guys? Because I can imagine that practice is going to change tonight with that game workload they have.
A little bit of both. We kind of pre-plan a little bit, and then we'll make adjustments. I'll make adjustments based off of how well we played or how we didn't play or how hard we played. I've been around the guys long enough where I can tell, hey, we need to take a little break. Like today, we've been going nonstop for the past 2 weeks. So this morning, we always have morning shoot around. We have to come in and make 50 free throws. That's our breakfast club. This morning, our game went long last night, so I said, hey, take that extra hour and get some sleep in so we can have a great practice this evening. So it's a little bit of both. We'll kind of set up things that we know, and just me being a basketball mind, I always look, once we get that schedule finalized, I'm always looking and going back, watching film on other teams, trying to get ahead as much as I can, and then I'll go make adjustments based off of that.
No, that's great. Now, Coach, before we wrap up here, I don't want you to think too far ahead. I know some coaches don't want to, but I'm not going to be able to get you on air before we get to preview this one. It'll already be said and done by the time we come back. So I just wanted to ask you about the Lebanon Classic. That'll be November 24th, next Monday at 5:30. I wanted you to kind of preview that a little bit. I know that's one you've had circled up.
Yes, it's going to be great. Lebanon High School, that's where I came from with Coach Mack, so I've been a part of it. We're actually playing Loretto. They went 35-0, won the state title last year, so they're defending champs. I always like to battle test us early on in the season and throughout the season until we get to district. So it's going to be a fun matchup. I'll be back at home, per se, in that Lebanon area. So looking forward to getting out there, getting the guys out there, and just competing hard. And like I told the guys, hey, of course we're not looking past who we have, but just know when that game comes up, that's a defending championship team. So they understand what it takes to get there. Just pay attention to their mannerisms and how they carry themselves while we're trying to compete and win that game and show that we belong as well.
No, absolutely. Thank you, Coach. So just to review, going into our week, we come off the preseason show. We have our jamboree in our first game against Sycamore. Springfield High School, they take the W. They're 1-0. Now we're going into Gallatin tomorrow, November 20th. Girls will be at 6. Boys will be at 7:30. Then we come back next Monday, November 24th. That'll be the Lebanon Classic. That'll be at 5:30. And, Coach, before we start to wrap this up, I just wanted to ask you a quick question. I appreciate you previewing all these matchups for us. But as a coach, myself specifically, back when I was a competitor and an athlete, I never really got too nervous. It wasn't much of my thing. By the time I was, pretty successful, I was pretty calm and stable with what I do. But with coaching, I'm a bit of a nervous guy. I get so nervous before I see my kids go out there and compete. I just wanted to ask you real quick, what does Coach Griggs feel before a big game, or especially that first game of the season? Is there a stalwartness or a nervousness? I just wanted to ask you how you handle that first game.
Going into the season, I have stage fright, believe it or not. So I'm actually very nervous, and I may not show it, but I'm very, very nervous going into that game because, again, as a coach, there are those uncontrollables that we have as a coach, and I like to tell the guys, I can't treat it like a PlayStation control. I don't control what you do. I can get you to that point, but once you step inside those 4 lines, you're essentially on your own. I'm just a play caller at that point, and I get a thrill out of it because now you get to either see how well you've prepared them or how well they're going to come out and play. But then I'm always nervous, like, all right, is this guy going to play well? I'm always thinking about them. And it's like, man, I wish I can get back out there and put that jersey on. And I tell them all the time, man, our generation, I feel like I can give y'all 40, 45 a night because it's a different brand of basketball now. Everybody wants to either be Steph Curry or Klay Thompson or Tyrese Maxey. So it's like the game has changed so much. You have to evolve with it as a coach too. And, again, I get nervous, but once the game gets going, I'm locked in, and it's like, all right, let's go. Let's get it going.
Awesome. Coach, before you go, can you do me a favor and plug those socials for Springfield basketball?
At SPTMBB. So it's SPT Men's Basketball on Twitter and Instagram.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Just as a quick review, obviously Springfield High School basketball, they start off 1-0 with a win over Sycamore. And then we're coming back tomorrow, November 20th. Girls will start at 6. Boys will play at 7:30. That'll be away at Gallatin. And then next Monday, we'll have the Lebanon Classic. That's the 24th. So please stay tuned. We'll have our show next week reviewing these games. Hopefully have more players. We might have 2 different player interviews coming on next week. He's head coach Anthony Griggs. I'm your host, Bruno Reagan, head of the audiovisual production department here. And you've been listening to the Anthony Griggs Coaches Show. Thanks for joining us.